Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles, it's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live, for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see.
Let's just stop. Let's just stop. Let's just stop. Let's just stop. Let's just stop and go back. Because I'm wrapping the show and you're interrupting me.
I'm not your wife, Softy. Don't talk to me like that.
This is not professional.
Don't fucking talk to me like that.
Like, what is the point?
Parade,
what is the point? It says go to host wrap up.
When you're
and
talking
even still,
to me.
you're arguing
Lower
with me.
your fucking voice when you're talking to
what
me.
The fuck?
Girl, the lore surrounding Miss Cheyenne Bryant just got wilder. The same woman telling y'all to go dig her dissertation up is now crying that the Black community is obsessed with canceling successful Black women. And now even more of her victims are publicly dragging her for scamming them out of millions.
On single folks. The Bible also says single people are happy people.
Look that up.
Look that up. It says marriage takes discipline. No, it says marriage takes discipline.
At this point, it's fair to say that Cherie walked so that Cheyenne could run. Because I haven't seen another person pull off so many grifts in a short time. The backlash from Cheyenne faking her credentials is still boiling over. And it's over two major things: her arrogant and toxic reaction to being called out, and the fact that she has spent her whole life spinning this web of lies so much that she actually believes them. What got people really angry was how hard Cheyenne doubled down on it and started acting like she didn't owe nothing to nobody. Now, it's one thing if Cheyenne marketed herself as an entertainer like Dr. Phil, or maybe even called herself a life coach, but admitted that she was as much a doctor as Dr. Dre is. Everyone would have laughed with her, and maybe the Black community would still listen to her since she's pretty and has a way of saying nothing with absolute confidence. But it's a whole different ballgame to fake documents and an entire life. And once her lies got called out, we watched Cheyenne unravel before our eyes. She went from one show to the other like she was trying to prove something. And as you can imagine, folks started to pick apart her story one by one. One of the first things people clocked about Cheyenne is the fact that she positioned herself as a marriage and family expert, despite never being married. She was out here claiming that she was still qualified to give advice, because it's better to listen to a single woman who's happy than a married woman in a miserable relationship.
Together 15 years but miserable 13. I'd rather take advice from a single woman or man who's happy, thriving, successful, meaning in their joy, not just in their monetary value, than someone who is miserable in the marriage with a side dude and a side chick, and you want to give me the advice that you give yourself that you use in your failed marriage. I'll pass. I'll pass. I'll pass. And what happens is married people like to shun on single folks. The Bible also says single people are happy people.
Look that up.
Look that up. It says marriage takes discipline.
If there's one thing Cheyenne loves to do, it's twist information until it fits whatever story she wants to sell. She claimed that she owned several 3 businesses in Melrose while buying her first house at 19. And no matter how much you dig, there's no sign anywhere that Cheyenne did any of these things. When she kept boasting about her degrees, social media pointed out that the only valid degree she's got was in fashion and apparel from California State University, Northridge. And she wasn't in any position to keep telling Black women what to do with their lives. Then she took it even further by implying that she's done a lot for the Black community, like stepping aside for Karen Bass to run for LA mayor and win, since she knew that as a Black woman, she had to support her own.
Hold on, Mark, this is my thing, right? When you have 2 Black people running, because I did this with Los Angeles, I was running for LA mayor, and then I seen our mayor, Karen Bass, come in as a candidate, and she was running against a white male, a Republican, and it was neck to neck. And I knew that had I stayed in the race, neither one of us would have ran because 2 Black people will split the vote.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, right, Mark? So what I'm saying is I pulled out so that Karen could win.
Right.
And she barely won, like Mark is saying, I'm talking about by a needle. Had I even took 200 of her votes.
Hell nah! A lot of people didn't appreciate her minimizing the very real problems women had with her, while acting like they are the problem. Whenever someone brought up her lack of licensing and how she's been dealing with the fallout, She brushed it off by claiming that her critics simply weren't ready to heal. She claimed that everyone calling her out was just emotionally and spiritually immature, and she is convinced that the women trying to cancel her were only doing so out of jealousy and trauma about her success.
One trend that you want to see retired in 2026?
Black people trying to cancel black people. I think that is disgusting. I think it's sick. I think that it's a representation of jealousy and enviousness. I think that it's for folks who believe in God, it is not Christ-like. I think it creates a deeper division between us. There's bigger things that we can get together and cancel that can benefit us collectively, and those things are not each other.
And it only got worse from there. Pastor Jamal Bryant called her out specifically over how she'd used his platform to mislead more people.
The danger of Sister Cheyenne Bryant, not Dr. Sister Cheyenne Bryant, is that it pulls us back further because we already had suspicion, we already had a pregnant pause, and we already had an overwhelming trepidation as to whether or not medical mental health was appropriate for us. We have a long-standing, had a pregnant pause around how it is that we have been treated, as cited in the book Medical Apartheid. And so for those who are yearning to breathe free, now having to question the credentials and the qualifiers, raises for us another stumbling block.
Y'all know the world is upside down when Jamal Bryant becomes the voice of reason. But his point was simple. Cheyenne could have positioned herself as a life coach and still been popular. Instead, she chose to take advantage of people's distrust in the medical profession for her own pockets and then gaslight them. And by the way, someone actually came out to speak on this whole saga about Cheyenne attending Argosy University. She claimed that Cheyenne was already calling herself a doctor while going through the program. Both the teachers and the other students called her out on it. But Cheyenne said that since she paid for the program, she has every right to call herself that. Cheyenne dropped out of the program, but convinced herself that she'd done enough to call herself a doctor. And while it's easy to say that she couldn't have done any damage, since it was easy to see that she was an entertainer, the truth is, Cheyenne had actually done it long enough for people to fall for it. Someone said, "As an old woman, I knew she was fake from the way she handled the teens on the reality show Teen Moms. I was a kid then, and I remember being confused about how biased she seemed and how emotionally invested she got in their drama. By the time she got on Basketball Wives and almost got into a fist fight, she just cemented those doubts. I'd sooner take advice from Dr. Pepper than her." Someone else who got mixed up with Cheyenne talked about how she basically pushed her into depression, since she wasn't in a space where she wanted to hear how she wasn't a high-valued woman. People who booked sessions with Cheyenne paid anywhere from $300 and up for a private session, and most of them paid under the assumption that they were talking to an actual therapist with the license and everything. So now that it's been proven that she never had the degree or license to begin with, Cheyenne is playing a dangerous game. Right now, anyone who has paid her for a therapy session can sue her for wire fraud, since she falsely presented herself as a mental health doctor and induced them to spend money on her. Cheyenne knows that she's crossed a line, and maybe that's why she suddenly came forward to talk about her licenses. Maybe someone who she worked with already called her to warn her, and she decided to get on the offensive and take control of the situation. But whether Cheyenne wants to defend her spot till the wheels fall off, at the end of the day, the grift is up. And even worse, it exposed just how problematic Cheyenne Bryant really is. Hell, she may need therapy more than anyone she's been dealing with. We've seen manipulative people try to come sell something to the Black community and then slowly die out when the gig is up. But when it comes to Cheyenne Bryant, for some reason, she still can't understand why anyone is annoyed with her. In fact, it's easy to see how annoyed she is that no one is buying into her lies. And that's why anytime she gets in front of a mic, she continues to come up with these grandiose claims that make you feel like you're crazy just from listening to her.
I think it's important to people I'm working with. I think it's important to my clients. I don't think it's important to defend against critics. Again, I go back to Jesus. If Jesus started to defend against every accusation while he was on his way
to the cross, he will still be there today. That means that we would still be in sin. We still wouldn't have forgiveness. Instead, he walked his walk and did his journey and ran the play, and we're here today.
I mean, how did she find a way to take a legitimate accountability question and frame it as spiritual prosecution? So now calling her out on her credentials makes her the same as Jesus? Now that she has cast herself as a martyr, just watch how Cheyenne turns every criticism into a spiritual attack. And that is the typical sign of a narcissist if I've ever seen it.
Now, I don't know who's still going to book a session with Cheyenne or look up to her after all this, but one thing for sure is that people are tired of seeing her make a fool of herself. They have to really stop asking her questions at this point. She sounds like Ray J and Orlando Brown. You know, I wonder how God feels sometimes. Like, why am I in this? Either show the doctorate or not, but why my baby boy gotta be brought into it? I've never met a therapist who brags about their beauty, body, or bank account like she does. In my opinion, she is a narcissist who uses spiritual bypassing to deflect valid criticism. Also, she mispronounces words often. It's weird. But what do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe. See you later, baddies!